And we are live. Hello, hello. Today we're doing something different, something new for Gen 2, uh, but not new overall. But we're doing a captain interview. And joining me today for the interview, as you could probably see from the title of the video, is Robin. Hello, Robin. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Having a pretty good day today.
Good, good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, we actually already did like half of this interview, but it was
Oh, you're
interrupted.
letting the people know.
I feel like it's the honest thing to do, but we're gonna redo it a little bit and just to get everything in one video. And so yeah, I think we could just jump into the questions. Uh, we'll start with how are you enjoying the league so far?
I'm enjoying it immensely. I hadn't had much experience with Pokemon prior to this. I mean, I played the games. Uh, was a big Pokemon fan growing up. I played Gen 4 through uh, Sun and Moon, which
Mm-hmm.
is Gen 7, 8,
Seven. So
and
yeah,
no, 7, yeah.
yeah.
And but I hadn't played a game since Space Sun and Moon, uh, and getting this opportunity is has just been a lot of fun to get back into it and really see what I can do.
Mm-hmm. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Really glad to hear it. I hope everyone's enjoying. I try to make it fun and yeah, it makes me really happy to hear that people are having a good time. So that's great. Um, Next question. What move or strategy has an opponent used that has most surprised you so far?
In terms of moves that have been used against me, it was actually the most recent week, so week 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
where uh, I had a trick strategy used against me, but it didn't work out like basically at all.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to be fair, I did surprise him with Rage Powder from Ariados, but he kept clicking trick even when it wasn't working, so I didn't quite understand what to do with that one.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a trick eject button set from Misdreavus.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think trick is usually better used with like choice items is typically it's like the way to get rid of your choice item and debilitate a support with that choice item is
yeah,
usually what we see.
and it makes sense to try to use it like if you're trying to slow my team down because my team's got a lot of immediate attacking threats
Mm-hmm.
or threats that just stay on the field and do consistent damage, like with Porygon 2. So I'd understand like trying to get them off the field pretty quick to mean I have to waste a turn pivoting and getting back in position. But unfortunately for them, I kind of wanted Ariados to use Rage Powder and then get off the field anyway, so
Yeah.
it completely didn't matter for my game plan.
Yeah, I mean I respect the idea like into Porygon it would have been cool to like both remove the Eviolite and get an Eviolite onto Misdreavus and then get Porygon out before it can use Trick Room, like all in one fell swoop. So it is pretty clever, but that it was just not the game plan. And once that wasn't the game plan, then the trick was just flying around without, you know,
Yeah,
any
I,
real
I
purpose.
100% agree with it in game one, but to keep using it in game two is where it starts to lose me.
Gotcha. Yeah. 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 Okay. Moving on a little bit to talk about your team instead of opponents' teams. Uh, what Pokemon on your team is your personal favorite? Like, so that's just in terms of design and like how fond you are for it.
Um, I I've grown an appreciation for Porygon 2. I love the fishing pun in the name. It
Mm-hmm.
fills me with joy because it's a long-standing joke between my partner and myself. And I wasn't a huge fan of Porygon 2's design. I much preferred either the first stage, regular Porygon, or Porygon Z. But through this, seeing how solid of a workhorse they are, it really grown on me. But I think
Nice.
I'm gonna have to really get an appreciation for Noctowl just because uh, I really liked them in playing through the games growing up. I enjoyed owls. I like birds regardless. So seeing that they are good enough to kind of carry me through a lot of games, even though they're such a low pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Noctowl has been very impressive, I'll say. And a
Yes,
Gen,
it's been
it was a Gen 4. It's not a Gen 4 Pokemon. It's a Gen 2 Pokemon. But I remember it from Gen 4. It was in Gen 4 a lot,
right.
which is
Yeah, I remember using it on my first Pokemon games playthrough of Pokemon Pearl. And when I was growing up, one of my first introductions to Pokemon was the daycare I was dropped off at when I was a kid. They had a little
mm,
Hoot Hoot figurine.
oh,
So I got a long-standing love of this Pokemon and its line.
nice. That's very cool. Yeah, I like that one a lot too. Uh, Shifting a little bit, those are some of your favorites. But which Pokemon do you think is the strongest on your team?
Um, Undeniably, it's got to be Azumarill. Like, Azumarill has been my primary damage dealer for almost every single week. It's got some supportive damage dealers around it, some good solid support in Noctowl and Porygon 2 that kind of enable it to run wild. But if it didn't have the, just raw stats to begin with, then my team would be really worse off for wear. I've leaned on it
Mm-hmm.
almost every chance I get.
Yeah, the power of Azumarill is huge. You
That
could
is one
say.
way to put it, yes.
Okay, good, good. Is there any Pokemon on your team that you think is maybe underperforming relative to the draft position?
Yeah, I mean, underperforming, the most underperforming would have to be Delibird since I've never even put it on the active roster.
Yeah.
But discounting that, no one expected Delibird to be good, it would probably have to just be Venusaur. And it's nothing against Venusaur itself. Venusaur is a pretty solid Pokemon overall. The problem is not with it, but with all of the Pokemon around it.
Mm-hmm.
Because this draft league, there's a lot of really strong uh, attackers that can all deal super effective damage. Pretty much every team has something that can hit Venusaur for super effective to one shot or nearly one shot it. Uh,
Yeah.
from Moltres, even with something like Air Slash, Feraligatr, Entei, Typhlosion, Ho-Oh, even things like Scizor and Nidoking. It's just a lot of really bad matchups into Venusaur. So it's just unfortunate that everyone else's like main damage dealer can hit Venusaur for a lot of damage, and it's just without like a lot of good Sun support. Like if I ran a dedicated Sun team, I might be able to get something going, but then I also run the risk of powering up some of the other, pretty deadly attackers.
Yeah, you gotta contend with Ho-Oh, you gotta contend with Entei, Typhlosion. Yeah, pretty spooky fire types. And yeah, Scizor, like you mentioned. Yeah, that's a good point. Uh,
Yeah,
Sad to see it because Venusaur was one of the staples of my team in Gen 1, but you can't always do
I
it. Depends on
I
the
would love
situation.
I would love to try to figure out some strategy that makes Venusaur really, really good. Find out something that, or some matchup, or some position where I can definitively say, yep, this is the match for you. But I just haven't been able to find that yet. Like, even against my last opponent or my next week's opponent with Chris, it's neutral or okay into most of the team, except for, Jump Bluff can't be Sleep Powder, which is unfortunate, but you can work around that. But like Zatu's got Magic Bounce to
Mm-hmm.
contend with, and uh, Lugia's got Aeroblast. So it's just once again not quite a good week for Venusaur, unfortunately.
Yeah, Lugia's not. I mean, Lugia's flying and psychic, so it's hitting two weaknesses in one Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. Uh, Flipping the question a bit, which Pokemon do you think is overperforming? We already mentioned Noctowl. Is there anyone else you want to call out?
By the numbers, it's got to be Ariados because it's the only Pokemon I've got 100% win rate with. Every time
Mm-hmm.
it has appeared in a match, I've won that game. So,
There you go.
you know, but overall, more broadly, it's got to be Noctowl because I unfortunately hit Brian with a gimmick strat that he wasn't expecting. And I do think that going forward, everyone has to contend with this to acknowledge that this is something that my team can do and that I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
So it has shifted how everyone thinks about my teams. But I'm uncertain how often I'll bring it again, but has been really good. But Noctowl has just been a more consistent force on my team.
Yeah, it's harder. There's not an easy answer. It's not like you can put a safety goggles and ignore Noctowl, right? Or you can do that with
Right.
Ariados, but yeah.
And Noctowl's got a lot of good options. It has two really good options for abilities in Tinted Lens to just get good, consistent spread damage that you can't even switch in or resist,
Mm-hmm.
and Insomnia, which prevents it from being slept, which uh, a lot of teams have been trying to lean on sleep as their way of disrupting their opponent, and Noctowl just says no.
Yeah, can't do it. I think you know Ariados, to its credit, it's the only round nine non-keeper that's gotten any play at all. So it got to give it a couple points there. But yeah, Noctowl a little more consistent, like you mentioned. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
maybe I'll figure out a way to bring Delibird. Maybe that's my secret weapon.
Mm-hmm. On the topic of keepers, I want to talk a little bit about going forward to Gen 3.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, first of all, I guess I should ask, are you planning to continue with the Gen 3 league?
Yes, absolutely. I know the listeners haven't known this, but you and I have done a lot of talking about what the Gen 3,
Oh, yeah.
is going to look like for the competition and how it will go. So, yeah, no, I absolutely plan on continuing this until I can't find the time or something like that.
Okay, great. Well, now you're on the air saying it, so
Mhm.
we got it on the
Correct.
record.
Yeah. You're going to bring this to a deposition.
Yeah. I was pretty sure. I mean, I knew you were gonna be planning to continue, but I had to get it on record. Okay, great. So yeah, going back to keepers, Gen 3 keepers on your team. Who do you think is keeper material, and who do you think you gotta let go? Or maybe you're sad about it, but you just gotta let them go.
It really depends on where I end up in the draft
Mm-hmm. Of course.
because unless I end up in like picking an eighth position, there's not a chance in hell I pick Porygon 2. And even if I end up in eighth, I might consider that role of like a bulky trick room setter going to something like Dusclops instead.
Yeah, Dusclops is
Um,
pretty nasty.
yeah, because it can't be faked out, which is really, really fortunate. And uh, I haven't seen them like done much side by side, but they're fairly comparable. I know that Porygon 2 is generally agreed on the being the better Trick Room setter,
Yeah.
but not Dusclops isn't bad. Um, but if I finish and end up picking somewhere in the middle, basically anywhere like third through sixth, I'll probably end up with like a Azumarill because Azumarill is really good. It continues to be good. Like it's still broadly considered to be a very usable Pokemon, and particularly if I get any amount of rain support.
Oh yeah.
then that's going to be incredible. But even if I don't get anything with rain, like I'm not able to pick up like Pelipper or Kyogre, Azumarill having a strong Water Fairy type attacker is never going to be a bad decision. But barring that, I'll look at Noctowl. I really like Noctowl, but I'll have to run some numbers to see how it stacks up in the much stronger Gen 3 format, especially with Megas running around.
Yeah, higher power level for sure. Might be where Noctowl finally falters. But yeah, okay, cool. Good to know. Uh, Shifting gears a little bit towards some of your matches, who you've played, and you played just about everyone at this point. We're going into week
Correct. Yeah.
7. So far, who do you think is your most favorable matchup? Not necessarily based on player skill and decision making, just on
Just
paper the
on raw
matchup.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
In that case, I'll have to say James because when I played James with the Ho-Oh, uh, Hitmontop, and Feraligatr, the team overall just does not like fairy Pokemon and certainly doesn't like getting intimidated. Now, you can mitigate that somewhat, but someone's going to have to give up their item for a clear amulet, and none of those three want it. Now, obviously, Moltres is a special attacker, so it matters a little bit less, but
Mm-hmm.
two Pokemon that are almost always going to be on the team, like being brought to the match, are both weak to Fairy, and I have the only two fully evolved Fairy type Pokemon in the league, and that just is a huge thorn in his side. So unless he
Yeah.
comes up with something really out of the box, he's got to work a lot harder to make the matchup even than I do, where I can just sort of bring a fairly standard set and get by with, halfway decent play. He's got to play out of his mind.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely that's one where creativity is required. Uh, in the reverse of that, uh, is there a matchup you think that is especially difficult for you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've lost only to two people, which is the two people who are, sitting at the top of the leaderboard, and Lily and you.
Oh, you
But I
beat
think
me.
if I was, oh yeah, then never mind. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
you're the
lost to
only one who
Carter.
beat me. Yeah.
But um, I think given another run at either Lily or Carter's team, I could, I could fucking beat them. I don't think the matchup's unwinnable by any means, and certainly now that I know better. But so I think yours is probably the hardest matchup just because of how good Smeargle is and how much damage that your Pokemon can dish out of very diverse types. Like you have
Hmm.
three or four strong attackers in Ho-Oh, Blossom, and Golem, with some sporting, attackers and support from Donphan and Slowking and the ever-present Smeargle. It changed things a lot, and that's a matchup that I won, well, because of timer, and I played on my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like I got a combination of really solid playing and getting incredibly lucky.
Pretty good hypnosis usage overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll need to find something else. I've cooked up a surprise strategy if I do end up facing you again. Uh, so we shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see if I ever have to unleash it.
I yeah, who knows? It's pretty up in the air how the playoff bracket's going to shape up right at this moment, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm scared. I hope I don't have to see it, but you never know.
I I've been wanting to tell you about it because I think it's a really neat tech,
Uh-huh.
but I can't have you knowing that because
Yeah.
like with any good tool, the element of surprise works so much.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Um okay, great. Uh Speaking of matchups, is there a rematch maybe that you're most looking forward to of anyone that you played?
Um,
or
yeah, honestly,
match?
either the teams that I have lost to, so Lily
Mm-hmm.
or Carter, I think with Carter I lost. I played really well and I still lost. Like I still came up short. So I think that one was fair, but with Lily's team, I think I played the worst match of my fucking life. I made so many mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think getting another run at that one, if they are able to beat me, and I'm not like actively hurting myself, then absolutely, like that happens, just a better player. But I feel like if I'm not shooting myself in the foot, I got a good chance.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. Like on paper, the matchup doesn't look that bad. I mean, the fairy types into Tyranitar alone seems like it should be somewhat favorable. You do have to worry about like wheezing and Skarmory, but
Yeah, I don't know, but even still, like I feel like it is a either a neutral to positive matchup, and so I'm fine
mm-hmm.
with it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. I know you've been keeping up with the matches. You've been watching a lot of different, pretty much. I mean, you've been watching every series, right?
Yeah, I've watched every game. I've been keeping up with most of the content. I don't watch every video every
It's fair.
time, but no, I've been very much paying close attention to it.
Do you have a favorite series?
Ooh,
It's a hard question. I know. There's been a lot of them. I don't even
that's
know what I
tough.
would say. Yeah.
Um, yes. Uh, I think my favorite series has got to be uh, week 6, uh, Carter versus Chris.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
the Black Death versus not Sing in the Rain versus
Sinnoh
the Sinnoh
Kingdras.
Kingdras.
Yeah.
Um, because up until then, the Kingdras had not won a single fucking game. They had kind of been the worst performing, and having watched all their games, they weren't playing awfully, but they were making some weird decisions, and uh, that if they were playing just a little bit better, they could have won some of those games.
Mm-hmm.
So out of a combination of benevolence and selfishness, I reached out to help them, and so help. I didn't just help build the team. I built like 90% of the team, and you built the other 10%.
Uh huh.
And then helped, helped coach him. Went through a lot of practice matches, seeing him like understand, asking him why he was making certain decisions, telling him to, think it through and tell me what he's thinking, why, and all that good stuff. And seeing them, a lot of those principles that we talked about, scenarios that we encountered in practice, uh, in the actual match, and him performing beautifully. I don't think that he could have played that game any better. And seeing it come to fruition is one of those things. I joked in the match reviews, like I understand why people have kids. Like seeing someone
Yeah.
you are helping and then seeing them succeed is fucking amazing. Like truly incredible stuff.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. That was really cool to see. I think everyone was, except maybe Carter, was happy that Chris
Yeah,
got a win. I mean, Carter didn't want to
yeah.
lose. I don't think Carter's like unhappy that Chris got a win. I think he just didn't want to lose.
No.
But
And to be fair, in a vacuum, like if I hadn't intervened, the match might have gone differently. Who knows? But
who
I did put my
knows?
thumb on the scale pretty hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Love to see that. Uh, okay. So back to some of the Pokemon. I'm just talking about the field here.
Mhm.
Outside of your team, we talked about Azumarill being, Noctowl being some highlights. But outside of your team, in the whole league overall, what do you think is the scariest, or maybe like the best value pick? The Pokemon maybe that's overperforming the most.
Oh, interesting.
I have a couple. I
I
could.
have a couple. I mean, for Alligator is
That was
been
one of
really
mine.
solid. Um, like Golem's a Gen 1 keeper that's picked last round. So for being picked last round is certainly overperforming.
Definitely.
But there's a little bit different with a keeper, I suppose. Kangaskhan's also been a solid workhorse. It's kind of the same deal. Um, I would like to say Furret of all things. It's not
True.
because it's been used very often, but it is an undeniably excellent mon that has not been utilized to the full potential.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that one. That one scared me so much in in my match. One of my favorite series as well, playing against that for it. But yeah, okay, cool. Um, so obviously we're pretty far in. You talked about at the beginning, like getting back into Pokemon. It's been a while. Uh, I'm sure you're learning a lot, and I guess my question is, what do you think your biggest lesson is so far from the season? Whether it be like from a
Um,
competitive Pokemon standpoint or personal standpoint, I guess I'll leave that open ended. But yeah.
from a Pokemon standpoint, it's definitely got to be uh, to not hold certain strategies as really precious.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's been a couple of things that I've tried and thought about, and that didn't work, and then having to go back and scramble in game 2 and try to figure something out. Um, but that's one thing. And second is if you are going to hold a strategy like a particular strat as like being particularly important, double or triple up on it. Like if rain's important to your team design and how you want to play, don't have just one rain setter. If
Mm-hmm.
you need tailwind to go up in order to not lose, have as many tailwind setters as you can. Things like that is don't put all your eggs in one basket, and don't gamble it all on a risky turn one.
Mm-hmm. Unless it's choice band wheezing.
Yeah, unless it's fucking banded Terranormal wheezing,
Split
then I guess you can do
explosion.
whatever you want.
Then you can just win. Yeah,
I'm
no.
gonna have to spec for that now, and that fucking sucks.
Oh my god, yeah, Terra Ghost on everything. Double protect for scouting. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Air Ghost
Um,
into some strong setup move or something. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, cool. Moving into some questions. These are more like for fun. Um,
Mhm.
if you had to swap your whole team, like with another team, and now you're the coach of a different team, and you're playing with that team from now on, which team would you want to swap with?
Ooh, good question. I'd want to swap with your team just to have access to Smeargle. I had the option to pick it, and I don't regret my choice, to be clear.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like because Smeargle has access to every move, you're incentivized to pick the best moves, and there's a pretty like canonized list of the best couple of moves that Smeargle runs.
Yeah.
But I feel like you could be digging way deeper into the bin of the moves that Shonen considers like almost always useless or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing what sort of dumb shit you can cook up.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
want to see
there's a lot of
um,
options.
what I want to see from you is using a wide lens technician Smeargle and spec into no retreat and population bomb.
Sweeper Smeargle.
Yeah, sweeper Smeargle. You get an Omni boost and no retreat. You get 10 guaranteed hits from wide
Oh,
lens population bomb,
yeah.
and then if you get a I also get boosted from technician because every hit is under 60 power. It is you can dish out a lot of damage from that little dog.
I mean, that's interesting. It's definitely something to think about. I have thought about Sweeper Smeargle because a lot of the moves in this game are attacks, and some of them are broken because they're usually limited to specific situations or Pokemon. So I have thought about it. Uh, it just hasn't felt right yet to me. So, but maybe I think going into playoffs, gonna have to come up with some surprise strats because like you can't just go do the same thing again. Generally speaking, like people will adapt. So yeah, something to think about. Something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, hit him with surprise V create. Like, that's a free delete button for any Fire Week Mon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of there's like so many different protect moves also that I thought about, like that they aren't just protect, they also like do damage or
Yeah,
poison or slow. There's those kinds of things. I don't know. There's some
if you
interesting
can
stuff.
sketch like oh, what's it called? Dragon Ascent. That's a like flying type close combat. That's pretty fucking sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I think that's why I shouldn't have picked Smeargle is because I'd be tempted every single week to
To
do the
do some
dumbest shit.
clown stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I would lose every game, but I'd be having a great time.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about, right? All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Cool. Um well, that is the team of Pokemon that you like the most. But let's talk about something perhaps even more important. The team name and logo. What is your
Oh,
favorite outside of your own?
oh, boo. I like mine the best. Um,
Well, I mean, making it harder
I
for
think
you.
I think outside of my own, I gotta give it to the Sinnoh Kingdress. It is a super clean design, like truly feels professionally made.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go. It incorporates like the Pokeball and Kingdra into the logo. It's incredibly well done. It is wild that someone actually has artistic talent or access to good programs because like I'm over here rocking PowerPoint to make mine and somehow churned out something good. And he's probably using like actually Photoshop or something incredible.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it does look good though. It's very like it's giving like sports, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think beyond that, if we delve a little bit deeper into the team, I think an underrated part of a team's performance is the nicknames.
Okay.
There's a couple teams that either don't consistently or not at all nickname their Pokemon, and I do think that's hurting them.
I mean, that might be
Like,
me. I'm not very consistent.
hey, that you are naming them something, but like, I'm pretty sure I'd have to pull it up. But I'm pretty sure in the game that Carter just lost,
No
he didn't have his
nicknames.
Pokemon nicknamed.
No.
Um, Chris doesn't often nickname his Pokemon, and maybe that's why he could have done better. James also isn't a huge uh, nicknamer.
James has the whole like Santa's reindeer theme.
Oh, never mind. I was thinking of a different team.
Maybe Brian. I don't think Brian.
Maybe.
No, Brian has a band theme where like there's the
Yeah, he's got
singer.
all of them playing different instruments.
Yeah.
I think it really is just Chris. But yeah, like you don't have to come up with a new fun name every week or something. But do nickname your Pokemon. It's free, it's easy.
Yeah, and choose whether you want them to be shiny or not. Also really important.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Uh, well, you already said you wanted to, continue on in the league, and my plan is, I think it's clear at this point to keep doing every generation onward and onward. By the time we finish Gen 9, Gen 10 will already be out and everything. So all the way through to Gen 10, hopefully with all the leagues. But on that note, is there a generation that you're most looking forward to playing in? Assuming you continue through all the way to Gen 10.
That's fair. I mean, I do have a lot of fondness for Gen 4 Really, because it's the generation I started with. I named my team after a Gen 4 like Sinnoh thing. So I think Gen 4 would be nice. I also think it'll be nice to have um, a decreased power level. I think Gen 3 is going to be absolutely fucking insane, where every team is hyper offense.
Mm-hmm. Much
And
more
I
glass
think
cannon.
taking right. And actually not even glass cannon, like because of like after Megas, a lot of these Pokemon are just insanely hard hitters. Like
Yeah.
most I feel like most games are gonna be decided in like 5 to 6 turns.
Yeah,
Like we're gonna have very few go to like the average 10 turn length or anything.
for sure.
But Gen 4 takes a step back in power level, where there's still some absolutely very strong Pokemon. I mean, Arceus is in there, um, but it is feels less extreme than the Gen 3 Rasta post Mega.
Mm-hmm. I think Gen 3 will be if you look at the stat spreads, because I did my write up and stuff. Like, there's just a lot more Pokemon, or they put a bunch of the points in offense and not very many points in defense, which is very different than Gen 2. So yeah, it'll be dynamic. It'll be explosive. But yeah, Gen 4. So
Yeah,
Gen 4 is your answer then? Most looking
yeah. I have to
forward
go with
to.
Gen 4 will be a good one. Honestly, I'm looking forward to most gens. I kind of I have this trepidation around Gen 3 because I think the power is going to be truly insane. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be everyone hitting the big burr button and just deleting teams.
Yeah, with Megas in the mix as well is gonna be. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I like. It's gonna be. I don't know. I've never seen Megas in draft, and I think like it. I wonder how much of it will be like my Mega has a good matchup into your Mega. Like, I guess that's my fear, is that like if one Mega
Mm.
just matches well into the other person's Mega, because I mean, there's usually enough though, at least that like every team can get two. So hopefully it'll be balanced by that. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah, hopefully.
I never promised that this league would be balanced. Okay, it's
No,
for
no, no. And as long as someone doesn't just like auto lose from the time they drafted their team, I think it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, for sure. Pokemon luckily has a lot of possibilities, so there's usually ways to dig yourself out of whatever hole you've gotten yourself into. Okay, cool. Well, that's pretty much all of my questions. Before we wrap up, I always ask this: do you have any words for your fans, for all of the raving Sunny Shore Wakes fans out there who are really excited to see what you're going to do next? What would you like to say to them?
Like, comment, subscribe, follow for more. Join my Patreon. What are some other things?
Well, I appreciate that. It's my YouTube that this is going on. So I don't have a Patreon, but yeah, like,
Ah,
comment, and subscribe,
God damn it!
everybody.
I've been fooled again.
All right.
Um, yeah, so that'll be it.
Okay, great. Well, Robin, thank you so much for joining, and I apologize for the confusion with the double interview, but we got it.
It's okay.
We got it all
Yeah,
locked in.
we're in there.
Yep. So thank you so much, and thank you to the viewers. Thanks for tuning in, and look forward to more interviews in the future. And just keep having fun with the Gen 2 Draft League.